we have King Tetrus, Miami's own, I believe.
Bless. Bless.
Giving us a few minutes of his time here on SpitFireHipHop.com. Hey, man, I appreciate your time. How's everything going?
Man, bless, man. I really ain't got no complaints. Just trying to make it through the end of the year, drop some cool music, trying to just get some progress going, and just really excited about, what's coming up in the new year and kind of the journey. So I appreciate you for having me, man. I appreciate all the support, for real.
Nah, not a problem at all, man. We heard you. I think it's probably just a couple months ago.
Yeah.
The first single that we heard you on was, I think, Undefeated. I think you did Undefeated right back in October is when we heard the track. Was that dropped in October, or was that earlier in the year that you dropped that Undefeated?
So that was October. By the way, shout out to Shadi. He's an asshole for this. But that story, the way that song came up was super funny because I got to share that with you. Exclusive. So I look up to Shadi. Like, Shadi's super nice. He's super dope. One of the most talented people. And, like, he gave me my first interview when I was, like, coming up with the idea to start music again. And kind of giving me toolage. He hits me. He's like, yo, you want to come over? I said, yeah, cool. I'll come over. It was a setup. He was like, yo, let's work on a song. And I said, all right, cool. But in my mind, I'm thinking, like, I'll have some time to digest, kind of get my thoughts ready to go. And he's like, you ready? And I was like, for what? He goes, to record. I said, so, okay. Shadi comes in, kills that song in, like, 2 takes. It took me, like, a while to get it. So I always laugh. I'm just like, bro, you're such a jerk for that. But, yeah, that did come out. But shout out to Shadi, though. Shout out to Shadi.
Yeah, now that's a hard track too, man. Now you mentioned, are you just returning to music after a long layoff? Explain that.
So I wouldn't say I'm returning to music. I think, like, overall as a person, I just had like a resurgence and rebirth. And it was like, I'm a corporate fraud. I am. I got a 9-to-5 and I'm a corporate fraud to the maximum degree. Like, fraud. But I was, like, always that guy who rhymed growing up, and, like, in college I used to do a whole bunch of shows and stuff like that, and then life happened, got away from the music, and then I looked back. I actually got reminded on Facebook, you know what, Facebook, y'all gotta stop doing this. Like, this day 2 years ago, it was a reminder that I was a douchebag. So I was like, oh, all right, I'm wearing, like, a suit and my bow tie and, like, all that stuff. And I'm like, who was that guy? But yeah, quarantine happened and I started doing, like, the Cypher circuit here in Miami, like, right before Out of Tokens came out. And, like, I'm getting around all these, like, MCs and all these people who were really about that life. And then I'm like, all right, fuck, I gotta, like, get better at this. You know what I mean? Gotta learn how to, like, get better at it, because that's all I did growing up was Cypher. Quarantine happens. I'm by myself 24 hours a day. I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and write some shit. And then here we are. So it just was kind of like learning who I am and then, like, just going after it.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, that was a good setup, man, because you sound good. So thank whoever took part in that. Tell them thank you from us, man, because we know what you've done.
No, I appreciate it, man. It's almost to the point where, like, I remember growing up, my parents used to tell me, I'm sure, like, most parents, like, go to college, be a doctor, be a lawyer, be all that, right? Make 6 figures, right? And your life will be amazing. And I was like, I hate school. I don't like class. I don't like any of these things you guys are saying that, like, I need to do, but, whatever, I'll do it. And then when I got there, I was kind of like, this sucks. This is not fun. I thought it was like a finish line where, like, you cross through and there's, like, 60 virgins that are waiting for you or something. You know what I mean? Like, here's a Ferrari, here's 60 virgins and a perfect credit score, right? And then, like, none of that shit happened. And I was like, oh, all right, like, I guess music's my thing now. And, like, I can't even imagine not doing it. And, I kind of, like, even changed. It's crazy. Like, I could not grow facial hair. for my whole life, right?
Okay.
My first time doing facial hair was like literally right before the album dropped, right? So I'm like, God, is this your way of saying I'm gonna be a rapper? Because like to rap, you have to have like a facial hair. Like that's
right.
like
You have to have a big beard, right?
you gotta have a beard. For Miami, like you gotta have a beard. You gotta have a beard. So like it finally started to come in, and I was like, guys, this album's gonna do amazing because I have a beard now. This is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. No street cred. No street cred, but the beard.
The beard's gonna make the magic happen, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But yeah, it's been a really cool experience, and I've actually like kind of gone into it full force, and I actually was gonna drop an album this year. Like I had a whole bunch of stuff, just everything, and I realized like I gotta get better at rapping. Like just people don't talk about that. Like having bars and then being good at rapper completely different. Like different things. So that's kind of what I've been focusing on. That's why you're seeing a lot more singles, a lot more like kind of just me trying to figure out, you know, what I want to stand on or whatever. So yeah.
Right. So speaking of that, do you have anybody doing an A&R kind of job for you, or you I mean, you have a team obviously, right, of cats that you do this thing with. Is someone in that group kind of the A&R to say, hey, this is how we're going to do this. This is how we're going to release these tracks?
So I have less A&R than more a bunch of people who tell me if I suck, right? Okay. Like,
and that's A&R in and of itself too, right?
Right, like less, more like strategy, more so like, bro, this was trash. Like that was not good. Right. But no, I've been working with H2O, and like I'm also working with my guy Miami Beatwave, who's like a Grammy award-winning engineer and producer, and him and I have kind of like, he just started giving me the green light on stuff because he's like, bro, honestly, like you just got to get better at the rap, right? So like I have like a marketing team. We have like the marketing, the people who do like social media, because of course like you're nobody if your social media doesn't say you're somebody, right? Like of course, God forbid you actually just rap, like God forbid. And so yeah, the team's strong for as far as strategy is concerned. I'm just like Tetris. We just want to throw as many different bars to fit into a puzzle, right? So like I'll drop some boom bap because it's a lot easier to do lyrical exercise on that. Just like I can rap. Okay, so we checked off that box. Yes, Tetris can rap. Check. Now like I have a joint we revitalized called Love is Love. That's gonna be a little more poppy. We have another joint called PB&C, Super Miami. I just dropped US1, which is like storytelling, where like it's just all going to be different. So I don't want people to put me in a box just yet, because like I'm just still figuring out what box I want to be in. You know what I mean? So like that's kind of the idea behind like the craziness as releases. And I realized that I released more music in the past like month that's getting set up between December and January than I did like ever. So it's you know, it's one of those things where like I have a team, we have a loose idea, but the idea is to not suck. That's the key here, is to make sure I don't suck at music. So yeah.
No, that's funny, man. You know, a lot of artists, man, I don't know if they come into the game with egos, right? Or they get in it and then someone's telling them certain things and that ego grows. For you, when you're hearing your team tell you, hey man, that's not it. You know, you have to do something different with that. I mean, how does that affect you? Is that, or do you have that problem with an ego, or you're like, hey man, just help me get better?
So that's a great question. Great question. I actually I passionately talk about this often because I always say it's like this. Rap is such a macho sport. It's such like my dick wraps around my leg 4 inches and I have a Ferrari and your mom's in my car. Like, it's like, It's so like braggadocious, you know, like it's like, well, damn, bro, like you don't even know my mom, you know what I mean? Like that's just the energy, you know. So by definition, you have like this like super god narcissist kind of idea, and I've never been that way, right? Like my whole life, I've been an athlete, and my parents were athletes, my sisters were athletes, so being coachable is your best friend, right? And I think so many people get confused. Like my dad used to tell me, if the coach is quiet, he doesn't give a fuck about you. He does not care about you. If the coach is not on your ass, he don't care. He don't care, right?
Right.
So when I talked to my team, I said, bro, I have you here for your voice. Like, this ain't no some Ursula shit from Little Mermaid. Like, you got to speak up. Like, the idea is not to get better. I'm not to be the best in that moment. The idea is to create something that will be literally timeless. The expectation is against my competition. So, like, if I want to be great, you holding your tongue's not going to help me. Me telling you just to tell me what you want to hear doesn't make any sense, right? Let's do things that make sense and that we can put our stamp of approval on, because music as an artist is a product, right? And people like try to think of it the wrong way. You need to make your product a product digestible. That's why everybody loves mumble rap, is because it's digestible. You can just take a couple bites, like, oh shit, you know what? I'm selling drugs on the way to my corporate job. Like, yeah, you're right. This wrist, dude. How much coke? How much baking soda? Like, bet. Answering emails like per my last email, whipping the word, chat. You know what I mean? Like, you're all ready to go.
Everybody's El Chapo, right?
Right. Everyone's Chapo. So it's like, you have to make a digestible product. But if you don't do that, the only way I tell people is like, I don't care if you like the song. That's all relative. I don't care about that. Do you hear the progress? Do you think it's better? Right? Because if you just like it, that is nothing for me. Because now you're not invested. Right? So like if I go to you and say, I show you a song from last year and you liked it, and you still just only like it, you're not invested. You know what I'm saying? The reason we love like the first album and the sophomore album of our favorite rappers is because we're like, the first one, damn, was that lightning in a bottle? Or was this going to show growth? You know what I mean? So like, I always look at it and say, I just want to have the growth. How many Rookie of the Years in the NBA do we know that aren't Hall of Famers? A ton.
A ton of them.
A ton, right? I don't want that. So that's why like my next album is called Rookie of the Year, right? So like I'm basically saying to myself, and I told my team, I'm challenging every single one of you to be the best versions of yourself, right? Like it's not about instant gratification. It's not about all that. We're in this light culture, this Instagram culture where we forget, like it ain't always about the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like we've got to build something special for people to follow. So that's why I was like, I'm super passionate about that idea. Like, don't tell me you like it. Tell me like I'm getting better. Tell me you're enjoying and digesting. And that's why I always tell people like, hold me accountable, right? Like we did this interview. I'm about to get your email and be like, yo, bro, what do you think of this? What do you think?